We have been born into a beautiful world. We have the right to enjoy it, to make use of it fruitfully. But, inexorably, there are more of us every year to share out the resources of which we all dispose. More people every year. People on the move. People burning up energy. Burning up more of our resources of energy as every year passes. How much energy does the world need? In 1960, the world used 4,300 million tons of coal equivalent. 10 years later, we were all using more than half as much again. Over that time, we burned double the amount of oil and natural gas. Industrial demand, to make everything we all need, doubles every 10 years. By the year 2000, the world will need from 3 to 4.5 times the energy we use today. Most of this energy, 60% of the world's output, is used in the rich countries. In North America, Western Europe, and Japan. What are the best forecasts of how long we can carry on the way we are? For how long can we remain a world on the move? The United States Geological Survey estimates that by the year 2035, 90% of the world's oil and gas will have gone. Coal will last a little longer, but 90% of that will have gone by the year 2300. A quarter of our fossil fuels, coal, oil and gas, goes to produce electricity. Electricity generation has become more efficient as the century has unfolded. Today, it's 10 times as efficient as it was in 1900, but it still only takes advantage of 35% of what it burns. The rest goes to waste and to create pollution. Our children enjoy the benefits that 20th century technology has brought them. But what can we hope to leave for them, these children who will grow to maturity during the 21st century? Will it be a world made unsafe and impoverished because of our own greed and lack of foresight? We transmit electricity inefficiently. A lot of it is simply lost in the power lines, and we use it even more wastefully. A domestic light bulb is only 10% efficient. We could easily make domestic refrigerators which would use 50% less power, but we are penny pinching at the same time as being prodigal. Greater efficiency in our use of power would be a help to conserve what resources we have left. We must also think of making greater use of our other natural resources. Like the fossil fuels, some of them are finite. Hydroelectricity, for example. But it doesn't look as if we shall be able to put that to greater use. Our dependence upon nuclear fuels is rising slowly. But today, nuclear power generation is more expensive than fossil fuel generation. and may not even become competitive until the turn of the century. By that time, the ideal fusion process may have become perfected. We already know how to extract deuterium from the hydrogen which is abundant in the oceans. In theory, 1 cubic kilometer of seawater could produce the equivalent of 300 billion tons of coal. But the plants are still to be designed. The ultimate pollution, after all, is lethal long-term radiation. We could try using the heat of the Earth. There's one plant in California which produces geothermal power by capturing natural steam. Now scientists are planning to drill holes 15,000 feet into granite beds, which are at a temperature of 600 degrees Fahrenheit. We ought to be able to use the sun's energy, but collecting it would be difficult, and it could only be done in the world's desert areas inside the tropics. Storing this energy would pose a problem. So would the storage of energy derived from the wind and the tides. If, as many experts believe, we must still rely on fossil fuels for 80% of Britain's needs until the year 2000, then we must use it to the best. This means conservation. Aluminium takes more energy to make than steel, so use more steel, less aluminium in our cars. It means insulating our houses better. It means turning our refuse into heat, as we are beginning to do in Nottingham. The French are doing it already. It means practicing domestic economy. Who benefits from lights that burn all day? Of the fossil fuels left to us, 88% are coal and lignite. The other 12% are natural gas and oil. The oil and gas we do have, we're using too fast. As oil becomes scarcer, we can face a world without cars. The oil-producing countries are banding themselves together ever tighter to make oil ever dearer. But we, the people, have to go on. We have to go on living, and we have to hand on to our children a world worth living for. The power crisis, like every other environmental issue, says an American biologist, is not an escape from the responsibilities of social justice. It's rather a new way of perceiving them. Several hundred years ago, Dr. Johnson said that nothing concentrates a man's mind so marvelously as the prospect of being hanged. The noose of an eventual energy famine hangs over the whole world.